totally up to you how you want to start this, bro.
All right, let's go in three, two, one.
Hop.
And welcome to episode number 16, Sweet 16 of our little podcast here. It is PS Comics I Love You. Want to thank you, all the new listeners, new watchers, new fans, whatever, that are following the show now on Facebook and whatnot. It's good to see that my phone was hacked, but in a good way, unlike Chris Evans. But we won't get into that. Oh, you act surprised, Mr. JR, that you don't know about this?
What happened?
Oh, let's get in. Well, first off, I'm Kevin Pill, the Voice of Reason. You can find me on social media at Voice of Reason 23. The man over there is JR Kambakugan, the Dark King, aka at also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram. You can find us on social media at PS Comics I Love You, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, PS Comics I Love, the letter U.
Yep.
So yeah, why don't we go right off the bat? America's ass forgot what he was doing when he posted to Instagram.
Oh, you talking about that? I'm thinking that you got hacked. I know that.
I was trying to do something on my phone, and I'm calling it a hack, but I was trying to do something on my phone, and I basically invited everybody on my phone to join our Facebook page. So it's a good thing, but I apologize in advance for the mass spam. I just hit the wrong button. I'm claiming Chris Evans. I hit the wrong button. But by the way, if you haven't seen, let me look it up. Hold on, I got to start this off.
You go look up America's penis? Okay.
Cool. No. Ain't gonna go that far. We may be not safe for kids, but we ain't gonna go full. What's it called?
Was it softcore? I don't know if that's. We can say that, but it's fine. We're not gonna go. We're half measures, not full measures.
Let's see if I can find it. Someone. I think. Oh, here he goes. I think I found it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let's see if the picture comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find it on Reddit. Our good friend over our good friend over on the internet, BossLogic, made a little picture, and it actually got him in trouble, and allegedly may have cost him some work with Marvel.
Oh, BossLogic?
Yeah. So
really?
I'm going to share the screen. This is, I mean, JR's already pretty much let the cat out of the bag about what happened with Chris Evans yesterday. But this was BossLogic's response to Chris Evans' Instagram post yesterday. That's all that needs to be said.
Oh, man.
That's all that needs to be said. So right there, full credit to BossLogic. You could find him right there on Instagram. Yeah. The dude is an amazing artist. I got to meet him at San Diego Comic-Con. Last year when I was trying to negotiate with Art Germ to try to get him to do my to get all my signatures, including a couple of signatures for our very own JR Kabakungan. I even told him. I told the guy, I was like, "Listen, Stanley," I was like, "I don't even care. Like, I need these books signed," and it was yours. I'm like, because I promised you I would get Art Germ. If he wasn't such a cool guy, I would have left San Diego Comic-Con last year with no autographs. I ended up getting all of my books signed, paid full price for them, told the guy I would pay double for them. Okay. But I got all my books signed. I got the base of my statue of Supergirl signed and all of JR's stuff signed. I just wish I would have thought to print out something and had BossLogic sign it. But
dude, it's cool, man. BossLogic is a cool guy. Like, I've seen some of his artwork now. I'm glad that he's getting more recognition. He's always been one of those guys, that around the internet and like around like a lot of artist sites where he's not just up and coming, but he's been around the game for so long. You know?
And he's what he is for those of you who aren't familiar with him. Again, find him on Instagram. He's worth a follow. It's at BossLogic, all one word.
Absolutely.
Um, and what he is he's like, he's like he takes what we talk about in this podcast in a
Mm-hmm.
comic book store, nerds getting doing fantasy drafting stuff and whatnot. He takes what we talk about and said, screw it, here it is, and he puts it to
Yeah.
art form. I mean,
Yeah.
case in point, America's cock. So
It,
and
it,
it's a
he,
rooster. Get your head out of the gutter, Jr.
yeah, haha, very funny. But like,
But
yeah, he's definitely. I feel like he's definitely gonna be one of those. Even though we're kind of semi tangent, I do feel like where he's I mean, it's on brand for us as a podcast, so it's fine. But like, I feel like he's gonna be one of the up and coming, definitely up and coming digital artists that's gonna be
yeah.
around for a long time. Like, I forgot the name of the artist who did Detective Comics 880. Do you know that cover?
Mm-mm.
It's that amazing cover with Joker, right? But it's like made out of bats. It's a crazy looking
Oh
cover.
yeah.
I forgot the artist's name, but like now that artist, right? Who's also well known and also amazing. He has done like the recent like artwork and prints for Star Wars Force Awakens.
Oh cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did the full on print all the book, like he does official artwork for Star Wars. I'm like, oh snap, dude,
Yeah.
that's Boss Logic. I feel that's
and
Boss
and,
Logic. That's
and
cool.
Boss Logic will and it was really funny to see him interact with Stanley Lau art term last year because it was like Boss Logic came over and he was almost kind of like an attendee but was making some appearances, and he came over because he wanted to meet Art Germ, and Art Germ's like, oh no dude, I want to meet you, like I was going to come over to your booth. It was like mutual admirations club. It was pretty cool. But
Yeah, man.
no, dude, check out his stuff. He's good stuff. And I do know that Boss Logic has done some variants, which is going to segue into what our main topic is going to be. I think he's done like one or two official variants like in the last couple of years. But I think they're not variants that like where Marvel or DC call and say, "Hey, Boss Logic, can you do a variant for us?" It's kind of like he does it for like KRS Comics or something like that, or something
Yeah.
along those lines. Like
He,
it's
I, I,
an official, unofficial
yeah.
variant.
Yeah, I will say. Oh, and in the cartoonist I was thinking about, it was Jock. His name is actually Mark Simpson, but he goes by Jock. That's
Oh, okay.
his name. But yeah, he has. But back to Box Logic though, he did do one official cover, right? It's an incentive cover for, I think, Captain Marvel 12.
Yeah, it was a Marvel one very recently. I just
Yeah,
couldn't remember
yeah,
what it was.
yeah. I wanted to have it. Yeah, Javale had it at his store, man, but I think they sold it. To be frank,
Yeah.
back there.
And
But yeah,
and his stuff is going to be when he does some official books. His stuff is going to be very hard to get. His is going to be some valuable stuff, but nonetheless, also some news coming out. We kind of get through the news and notes section here. Got the news right here. One thing that did not make the press, but I want to throw it out there real quick for all of you huge Chris Hemsworth fans. Good news.
that's right. That's
Thor
right.
Odinson is going to be with the Marvel Cinematic Universe beyond Love and Thunder. So I don't know if that is kind of a wink that Thor is going to be appearing in Guardians 3. Now, we do know that Thor Love and Thunder is currently in pre-production, and that movie is going to be released before Guardians 3 gets released. So him saying, I'm going to be here after Love and Thunder could be him going, I'm going to do Guardians 3, which I think was kind of like a foregone conclusion. I think they said that James Gunn, when he got rehired to do Guardians 3 after Endgame, it was... I think he kind of said, he goes, yeah, Thor's going to be in the next movie. I've rewritten the script. So, but I think you kind of need Thor. I think he's...
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think he could be kind of like Odin to the universe. Like, even if he's not always there as a main character, like, we don't need Thor. We can always have Odinson there as kind of like, he sits on the throne of Asgard or whatever it may be, or be an advisor. I think he could be, maybe he's the new Tony Stark. Maybe he's the new Robert Downey Jr., because we don't have Chadwick Boseman, because it has been coming out over the last 7 days that Chadwick Boseman was being set up to be the next Robert Downey Jr. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But so who's going to be the guy? So it was
Yeah.
good news.
Yeah.
Speaking of real quick,
Yeah.
did you get my text earlier this week
I did not. Which one was it?
about Black Panther?
Oh, they're
That
possibly.
known with that cover,
Oh
first
yeah,
appearance of Shuri.
yeah. It's going up right now, right?
So we're talking about again speculations, and which is going to be coming up in this episode. But just kind of give a little teaser. Um,
Yeah.
the comic book market is very much it's a very fickle market. It's maybe a
Volatile.
little bit more inconsistent than the regular stock market, but at the same time, it can be just like the Nasdaq and the NYSE and stuff like that, buying stocks on the market. I purchased a $45. It's still a wall book nonetheless. First appearance of Shuri, which I believe is it's a Black Panther, Black Knights, like number one or number two. I can't remember what it is. But anyways, first appearance of Shuri, T'Challa's sister. I think 3 issues later, she becomes the Black Panther. Both books, especially first appearance of Shuri, have skyrocketed. I bought this book in June of 19. It is now a nearly $200 book. What's it called? Key Collector is saying that some places a graded 9.8 is going for 800. A raw near mint is going for in the $300 range. But they said right now the market value on it is about $170, and that again goes along with what we said last week. With you have to give and take what market you look at, what you're basing your information on. You can't always go based on what eBay says. You can't always go by what, say, like a Key Collector or what's the one you use? Go Collect. Go Collect. Overstreet used to be the Bible of pricing. I mean, it's still kind of out there, but it's not the same as it once was. But nonetheless, yeah, right now it's going for $170. They feel that it's going to continue to go up. God, could you imagine once they do make an announcement that, hey, Shuri is going to be the next Black Panther?
It's. I mean, yeah, it's gonna skyrocket. But at the same time, like that already, just the thought of that like blows away like probably all this other planning and probably that was already there because like originally she was supposed to be with the Young Avengers too.
She was going to be in the Young Avengers, which they may still go that
They
direction.
still can, yeah, they still can go do that, but like now that you're the possibility of her being the new Black Panther
Yeah, yeah.
or being in the role of Black Panther, I don't know if she'll become Queen of Wakanda. That's up in the air as well. But like having the role Black Panther and then being a part of the Young Avengers with the whole new younger group, that's gonna be interesting. And I don't know how that's gonna plan out. At the same time, to just go back on like comic speculation, and we'll save this for later in the video. It's just that the comic market is like one of the most volatile markets.
Oh, extremely
It's
volatile. That's the cover we were talking about, by the way.
volatile. Yeah, yeah. And so I mean, you have to take all this stuff with not just a grain of salt, but more so like it's a wait and see approach.
Yeah, yeah.
Granted, during the speculation time, it's always good to have one before that happens, and it's always good to have that. It's just more so like you don't know if this is going to be a thing where it stays. We don't know if this full on tangible yet. It's just all speculation per se. And so yeah, we'll leave that for more so longer later down the video. But hey, man, it's a good thing to know that there are still plans even after such a traumatic event, even after such a heart-wrenching event as Chadwick Boseman passing, man. That's a legend, man. I still can't freaking believe it, bro. And so yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, yeah, we all kind of have to like keep on pushing forward and keep on doing what they're doing. Like Marvel has to keep on pushing forward and continue to put more spotlights on these awesome characters and these awesome actresses and actors who are playing them. And so more power to them, So
Go ahead.
as long as the Black Panther story gets told again and again and again, I'm cool. Whatever. Do whatever you want to do. The comic speculation, we'll get into that later. But yeah, also some more news, guys. For me, because I'm a full-on nerd, the trailer 2 for Dune released on Thursday. And have you watched it?
It was funny someone had posted it on Facebook, and they were talking about like, oh my gosh, this is like blows my mind, blah blah blah. And I'm watching it, and I'm watching it at my other job, and I never got to the climax to see what it was. And I remember just watching it, going, "This has to be Dune." And it was funny later down the road. I mean, I didn't watch it again, but I kind of saw some clips from the trailer that kind of confirmed, yeah, it was the Dune 2 trailer, and that it's very much kind of like an homage to the old trailer. So
I am I am super excited. Like, and it's a huge ensemble cast. You know, led by yeah, the lead is by Timothy Chalamet. I can't really say his last name. Chalamet, I think that's the name.
works for me, man. I'm looking at it going, Gazoon type.
I mean, like the same, like already he's like I think 24, 26 or something like that, and he already has like a profile. He has already had pedigree under his name, and so that's to have that name at your forefront, right? And then Rebecca Ferguson, you got Oscar Isaac, Oscar Isaac, you got John Brolin, you got Stellan Skarsgård, Zendaya. You got Zendaya playing. You got Dave Bautista and Momoa playing, and Jason Momoa. I'm like, I mean,
Aquaman and Drax.
I know, and you have a lot of these big names, not just big names, but like, yeah, I guess big names that can really hold down the fort acting wise. And then you have Timmy Chalamet, who is, even though he's relatively, I guess, new, like younger, he's looking like the full on epitome of I forgot his name, dude. It's another famous actor way back when in the day. He reminds me. He reminds me of like Johnny Depp's method acting, as well as oh dude, when he was younger, Godfather. The Godfather.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. It just
why am I completely
lost. Yeah,
why am I completely drawing a blank? People are gonna watch this video and go like they're gonna be yelling at their screens.
But like, yeah, exactly. Like, when he was younger, not more so during Godfather, but when he was younger, I remember his younger stuff too. So that's what I see that same trajectory as Timothy is doing right now, and that's crazy to say from a young kid like this. And you have Zendaya, who I honestly believe is near that same category. But yeah,
she has really Marlon Brando is who you're thinking of.
Thank you.
Zendaya, to me, the jury is still out. There's a lot of talent there.
Okay.
I'm glad she's getting roles like this to try and make a career for herself and try different things and, you know, get away from the Disney Channel, get away from playing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though I think she plays great as Michelle / MJ, whatever you want to call her. Yeah. I enjoyed her in The Greatest Showman. And
I will say, have you watched her Netflix show?
Not yet.
She's great. She's really
she's a good actress, and I think she shows a lot of range. Just basically showing what she started with, being a Disney Channel girl, being a Mickey Mouse Club kind of girl, to doing MJ, this kind of loner, cast off kind of character, albeit in a Marvel movie, and then turns around and plays, I mean, a different character, so to speak, in The Greatest Showman. Yeah. I think being in this one, even though it's a genre film, I think it's completely different. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic kind of feel to it. Maybe that's not the exact description for Dune, but it has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Though I will say this, watching this trailer, for some reason, the first thing that popped in my head was I hope someday they get to make a Lola movie or a Lola TV show.
Yeah.
I've heard they might. There is talk that Netflix might buy up the property, that they are working heavily with Aspen, Boom Comics, Boom Studios rather. I think they have a relationship right now with, I want to say it's Image, but I don't think that's right. But nonetheless, it had that.
They do because
is it Image?
Yeah, because they bought the what's his name? He does Spawn. They did I'm literally forgetting all my names now. the creator of Spawn.
McFarlane.
They bought the, yeah, they bought the McFarlane verse.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So like all those stuff, they're all gonna be Netflix film. Like all of them, McFarlane verse could possibly be Netflix films, and so that's a possible good in for Image.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie is of course based on Austin Frank Herbert, and it's going to be released only in theaters in December 18th.
Now, for those who don't know, for movie speak, when it says only in theaters, that doesn't mean that it's never going to have a home theater release, but it's more so now than before. It means it's only going to be in theaters. There's going to be no digital premiere. There's going to be no. It's going to be out in 6 days on iTunes or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I think a movie like that though, JR, is like, unless it has to either go, you have to either do this or you have to do this. You can't do both because people are going to pick and choose. So you have to to give them one choice and putting it in theaters, kind of like what Tenet is doing right now. And it, by the way, it just crossed the $200 million worldwide mark. Obviously, not fantastic numbers, but in the COVID verse, especially since the head of the CDC just said earlier this week that he doesn't see theaters reopening until there's either a vaccine or as early as late 2021. But there are theaters opened elsewhere, and I think I think people are kicking themselves and tearing down those drive-in theaters. They missed their boat.
I mean, we could have known. Who could have known, man? I mean, like we might see some popping up here and there, but like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, they just had one at the Palm Springs Air Museum.
That's right.
And I think they've done some on the roof at the Westfield Shopping Town in Palm Desert, the Palm Desert Town Center. They on the roof of the parking structure.
Yeah, the third floor.
But yeah, no. We could get into the coronavirus later, but again, like JR said, December 18th, 2020 release. Only in theaters. No word. It sounds like to me that they're going to do no digital premiere. JR mentioned at the top of the show, DC Fandom Part 2 is currently going on. Like JR kind of said, what we got a month ago would be like Friday, Saturday at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
This today is kind of like a little bit of a combination of Wednesday. Well, there was nothing really happening on preview night, but like a combination of Thursday and a little bit of Sunday mixed in. So it's like not the big names, but we're giving you Supernatural. Which, by the way, pretty cool that the car from Supernatural is going home with one of the actors. I can't remember what the guy's name is. The guy who drives it. What is it? The older brother?
Oh, it's going with Jared. No, it's Dean. No,
Dean. The guy who always drives it.
Yeah, that's Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, that's him. He's getting to keep baby. So he gets to keep the car. That's his wrap gift, is he gets to keep the car. So the car will not get crunched or get donated to a museum or something like that. He's getting to keep the car. But like, what's that?
Small thing. Yeah, like 6 of those cars. So I will say that.
Well, I guess it's the main one. Like, I guess there are multiple ones that they blow up or whatever.
Yeah. There's
one main car that they do a majority of the driving scenes in. I'm not a huge Supernatural fan. My wife is. I don't dislike it. I like the characters. I like the show. I never got into that genre. I wasn't into Buffy. I wasn't into Angel. I wasn't into what was that? The Charmed. I did get into that kind of stuff, but nonetheless, I appreciate the genre. Yeah. I root for it to be successful. I don't want to go like, oh, screw that show, cancel it. No, I want that show to be on the air because, like I told you, it's kind of the Kevin Smith approach. If they start canceling shows like Supernatural, you don't get other cool shows. I think, honestly, without Supernatural, you don't get The Walking Dead. I mean, eventually they probably would have made it, but I really think that that Supernatural kind of set the tone. But then again, Buffy the Vampire Slayer set things up for Angel. Angel set things up for Charmed. Charmed may have set things up for Supernatural. Supernatural set up things for Walking Dead and so on and so forth. But
definitely. We need to have a podcast about the whole CW verse because the pre DC current DC, right? It was more so like the Smallville and and
It was
Supernatural and a bunch of other ones. So yeah, but yeah, definitely. And just to say, I'll be on record today. I was gonna say that if Supernatural ever ended, right, and I was thinking about maybe 6-7 years ago, right, because that was a good time for them to possibly end everything. Because how everything was getting wrapped up. Honestly, it should have ended season 5, but then that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
But I did feel that either Jensen Ackles or Jared Padalecki would have been a good, like, I think for me, Jensen Ackles could have been a really good Captain America.
I think one of them was up for the role. Maybe it wasn't Captain America, but I think one of them was
Jared.
up for a MCU movie. Now there is I think not, is it Jared, the other one?
That's all one.
I believe, I think he's been hired somewhere. I think he's going to get into, I can't remember if it was Marvel or DC, but I think he is going to get into the comic. But they both are going to. They're both eventually. They're probably both going to, like, dude, we're going to take a nap.
Yeah.
We're going to have some lunch, and then we're going to be in Avengers 5.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? What's the guy's name? Jared Padalecki?
Padalecki, yeah.
Padalecki? Adam Warlock? I'm looking at. He's got the hair.
Well, like, this crazy thing too. Like, look up Padalecki during season 8, because I know the later seasons, right?
Yeah.
He looks a little bit skinnier. In season 8, he was, for some weird reason, he was buff as hell.
They both got jacked.
It's like Padalecki specifically, like all he did for like 3 years. Like, all right, I'm here in Canada. You know, I'm away from my wife all the time. I'm just gonna work out. That's it. And so he got jacked, dude. And I'm like, yo, that's the superhero body right there, man.
So I gotta imagine it's only a matter of time before
Absolutely,
that one of them ends up with. Why did it? Sorry, I just tried to pull it up, and my computer did not want to pull up Supernatural.
Yeah, man.
Anyways,
they had a lot of great people come through that show too, man.
Oh yeah, it was funny. Was for the longest time, the guy who plays the character, is it Castile? Is kind of
Castile.
Castile. Yeah. I for the longest time thought that was John. Oh my gosh, Constantine. I always thought it was Constantine.
Because the coat.
Because the trench coat, the tie.
Yeah, I mean, he has a range for it, so I'm yeah.
But oh yeah, Jared. Yeah, I'm looking at Jared. Like you could totally. He could play. He's got that superhero look. He's got that chiseled chin and stuff like that. And Jensen Ackles. Yeah. They're both gonna get something.
If Jensen was younger, I wouldn't mind him being Red Hood. He played Red Hood in an animated series, which to me
that's right. That's what it was. He was the voice actor
of Red Hood, right? To me, when Jensen was around, I think he was in not Seventh Heaven, but like another. He was in another CW show. I think the one with the mom and the daughter. I forgot the name of it, but like he was in that show too. And I'm like, around that age, dude, I'm like, yo, he looks like Jason Todd. He could be Jason Todd for me.
Yeah.
Short hair, like
maybe he plays an older version of him.
That'd been nice, bro. But but yeah, I'm glad that's happening. Also, focusing on more of that. For me, I'm happy about this news. Jim Lee finally confirms that there is not going to be a reboot for DC Comics.
I wonder
whatever got out there.
What I think happened there is he's like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. AT&T, we're not pumping any more money into DC Comics. Done. We're not doing 5G. I don't know what the hell you guys were talking about.
Yeah, man. Just to say, he quoted from him. He's saying that we have no clue what that even means, right? We want to focus on individual titles and organically build up individual characters over the course of the next year. Thank you, Mr. Jim freaking Lee. That's what Rebirth's been doing for the past going on for almost 5 years now. And I'm like so happy about it.
Yeah, basically, for those of you who don't know, 5G was going to be it's hard to explain, but I think like the core characters of DC were going to be spun off and given like their own time, like basically the timeline that we know right now would cease to exist, and like I, I don't want to speculate too much, but basically there was like four or five, maybe it was just five, maybe it was the five main characters. We're all gonna get like like they were gonna be all over the place, and it was gonna be a completely reboot, and it was a mess. It was a colossal mess, and it made no sense. And I'm glad it's not gonna happen.
They were basically on a new 52 it again. That's what the new 52 did. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what new 52 did. Gave you your own timeline, gave you like new stuff with your same separate characters and have them do their own freaking thing to try to appease, I don't know, maybe Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
Because Michael Bendis just keep on screwing over my freaking favorite super son and made him 18 years old when you have another Superboy. I can rant on.
By the way, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. There you go. Pound it. This came out last night. Brian Michael Bendis' run on Superman and Action Comics is over as of December of this year.
Thank you.
Don't know yet if Brian Michael Bendis will be leaving the distinguished competition, but he is done on Action Comics and Superman. Single-handedly the reason why I stopped collecting both of those titles. I really didn't collect Superman. I did want to collect. I think I have Superman #1 of the Bendis run just as a collector's item. But I was not impressed with the artwork. It was good. It was not terrible, but it was generic. It was just and the writing was not good.
Yeah, he was basically his writing was tangent form. Like it was tangent form writing. He was basically kind of us, but in writing.
Yeah.
Going on tangents for like a long drawn out time, but not understanding the fact that you have a story of Superman that you need to tell, and that's what kind of like turned me off so much. And the fact that we're still gonna feel some of that repercussions because his son is now in in Legion of Superheroes. That's gonna be year 3000. I'm like, we're gonna be just destroying another child's childhood because of dumbass writing. I'm like, dude, I'm hoping the next writer just like, no, none of that happened.
Other news and notes from DC Fandome, kind of real quick, rapid fire. Young Justice Phantom season 4 is revealed, no date for release, but JR's happy that it's still happening.
Yep.
Batwoman season 2 was revealed with the new Batwoman. It's not the same character; it's a new character playing Batwoman. Nonetheless, that show is beginning filming soon.
Don't know yet. Actually, I didn't really go into it.
Okay.
I do know that they released some stuff for it. I have yet to see a actual release date for it because of just filming right now. So
yeah. DC Legends of Tomorrow season 6 is also revealed. There will be a new hero. Is that the actor or is that the character?
That's the character, Esperanza Lunar Cruz.
So you're more of our DC guy, so I'll let you take the lead on that one. Real quick note that you did not put in here, as to be expected, Wonder Woman 84, which was scheduled for a November release, has now been pushed to Christmas Day of this year. So December 25th, 2020 is when allegedly Wonder Woman 84 will get released. And I did notice the director said that Gal Gadot was having to run on set near Olympic pace, was having to run the same speed as Usain Bolt of Jamaica to be able to get some of the scenes down for Wonder Woman, because obviously Wonder Woman very much the kind of Captain America of the DC universe, and has super strength, super speed, super power, stuff like that. But I just thought it was an interesting little note. But again, Wonder Woman 84 scheduled for December 25th, 2020 now, so it's been pushed a month. I think this is just they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until they can finally get it out in theaters, get a little bit of their money, or make the decision to put it on HBO Max. Um,
That's also kind of a little bit of fib. Yeah, she's running as fast as Usain Bolt. I'm like, I know that's just exposition, but like,
yeah,
you,
no one can run a 10.9. Not
like
even a 10.9. Like no one can run like a.
no one's ever gonna be faster than Usain Bolt. Let's not try and
Hey,
compare.
you know what? You know what? Something did finally catch Usain Bolt. Coronavirus.
I knew you were going for it. I'm gonna
Do
pass. We're gonna move on from that.
I need to put up Do I need to put up the Boss Logic again? Um, this is something I did pick up. I think this is the book that Chick was selling this past week in the Double Up, the Q Double Up. By the way, got to send a shout out to our girl Chick. Thank you. She played all of our episodes in the store. She loaded them up on Spotify, which, by the way, you can find our episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. When I say Google Apple Music, I mean Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor.fm. We recommend you go to Anchor.fm/PSComics. I love you for more information about how you can find the podcast on whatever platform it is you listen to. Again, it also can be found on iHeartRadio and the iHeartRadio app. And if you go to Anchor.fm/PSComics, I love you. You can also find a way how you can support the show more than just sharing it on your social media sites. And of course, don't forget if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment on the show below you. But again, big love out to Chick. She played our show and then posted it on social media and got us some new followers on social media. So thank you for those who are watching. But Double Up, the Q Double Up, which is an opportunity for collectors to get on again. Wink. This is this is foreshadowing. An opportunity to grab collectible covers and books that are going to be coming up. That Chick, if you pre-order these, basically the Q Double Up means that Javel, who is Q, has said, boom, these are hot items. These are going to be collector's items. These are things you're going to want to get. What they do is if you pre-order them, you are pre-ordering them at cover price before Javel and Chick decide to mark them up to avoid JR buying all the copies off the rack. Some books hit, some books don't. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for you. Lock it in, get that Art Germ, get that J. Scott Campbell, get that Adam Hughes cover. Get that Detective 1027 coming out. So yeah.
I will say just to preface, when Kevin did say not to monkey down anything, but when Kevin did say some do hit, I will say the second part, some won't hit yet.
Yes.
Some will take longer. Some will take longer to basically kind of just to warm up to, because that's just how collecting is. You don't know what it's gonna be hot in a year from now. So
case in point, the Marvel Zombies cover featuring Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl that we showed you on our show last week. Little wink there. Go back and watch our show last week. That comic was a Q Double Up. There was a stack available to pre-order. It's a book. I think it's an artist that a lot of people aren't familiar with yet. JR talked about it. Again, go back and listen to last week's episode to find out about that artist. But nonetheless, it's an artist that people aren't familiar with. They don't have the name yet. So I think that Chick saw, like JR just said, that it's not a hit yet. They're going to sit on the shelf, much like, and I'll tell you this one. There is a book that I have. I got to find this. No, you know what? I'll save it for later. But nonetheless, it might be one of those books that people go like, oh, this is kind of cool. Grab it. The next person, oh, that's kind of a cool cover. Grab it. And then there's that one left. Now, I'll use this as an analogy real quick, and we'll segue into The Walking Dead. Is, again, talking about speculation. Go to a grocery store, right? Go to a grocery store, or go to Costco. Go down the wine section. And I'm not promoting alcohol or anything on this show, but this is just an example. Go to the grocery store, go to the wine section at Costco. Find that box. You've all seen it. You've all been in that section. You see those wooden crates, right? And there's bottles of wine in them. Go find the case that has one bottle left in it. See what the price is. If it's about $20-$30, grab it. Come back a week later with that same bottle of wine in that same spot. That bottle of wine that you bought for $30 is now $99.99. It's a $100 bottle of wine. Reason being, it's a hot ticket item, and that one bottle sat there for so long, because some people will go like, oh, there's one left. Maybe it's not that good. But most people go, ooh, there's one left. I better grab it. So that's kind of how comic books can be. Sometimes you have that one book that sits on the shelf for a little while because people are like, I don't know about that. There was a cover. There was a cover, and I'll find it that featured Shuri. Kind of a callback there from Art Germ, and it sat on the shelf. One copy. And I should have grabbed the last copy. It sat there for a year at Comic Asylum. There's still, I think there might even still be a copy at Desert Oasis. Finally, someone grabbed it, and that book has steadily gone up. Is it a $100 wall book? No, it was a $5 variant that you could probably flip for 10, $15. So yeah. So, anyways,
yeah.
Getting into what?
Walking Dead. Yeah, well, getting back to Walking Dead.
No, go ahead. You can do The Walking Dead.
So, guys, yeah, like we said before like I said before in past podcasts, actually, The Walking Dead technically ended earlier this year. Yeah, like
no, it was like a year ago.
No, it should be this year, dude. It should have been this year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, let me check it right now because
we're both gonna go for it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, because after you go ahead, you look for it, and then I'll go.
You talk about. I'll find it.
Yeah. So The Walking Dead has ended, right? And multiples, like I think maybe when Negan Lives came out just recently, like in the last 2 months, right?
I mean, does that really count?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's Walking Dead. It's Walking Dead fiction, so there's that. So what Image is doing now, well, actually, what what Skybound is doing now is that they're re-releasing every issue but colored, and so it's called Walking Dead Deluxe, right? So it's releasing October 7th.
The Walking Dead 193, July 2019.
So it was last year. Okay.
Yeah, I won't divulge how I know that. Let's just say I bought this cover off of someone, and I'll just leave it at that. I had to beg, barter, and steal to try to get that cover. And I won't get into why I know it came out last year. So, okay. But nonetheless, okay. Jared's right. There's been some, not spin-offs, but some prologues.
Yeah, I guess some prologue, like some prologues and just other. It's mainly been around Negan, right? So that's cool. It happened, and so they're re-releasing every issue. If I remember correctly, it's 2 per month. And the first 6 issues, right, are connecting variants. They just released they just released the connecting variants, all done by the artist of the artist of the book. I forgot his name or her name. So yeah, it's a 6-issue connecting variant cover of the first 6 issues. Yeah, and they're gonna be releasing if I'm correctly, they should be releasing 2 issues every single month, starting on October 7th of this year. Yeah, basically that's what. And like. And I've seen some of these covers, man, and I mean, like, cool. Yeah, it's a way for readers, right? That basically missed out on the very first run, right? The very first run to kind of just re-get this back, but in colored form, right? And it's not. And what they said before is it's not coming out in hardcover. It's not coming out in the compilation books now, right?
Oh, okay. So do you have to buy them individually?
Yes. I'm missing my words today, dude. What's it called again?
Trade paperback or
yeah, trade paperbacks. Yeah, it's issue 1 through 6, but yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not coming on there, and just seeing that just seeing the variant art for it, cool. Yeah, it's cool, and then seeing that a bunch of other artists who are now doing it as well. You got everyone from Adam, I think not Adam Hughes. Art Adams is doing one. I think a bunch of other ones. I think Art Germ is doing a couple of covers. Campbell again is doing covers. What's up?
So, that would be good because I know that Campbell did the. I have them. He did the 15-year anniversary cover for. Oh my gosh, what I can't think of her name. The one with the 2 walkers.
Yeah. That's. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting my name now. Oh my gosh, this is a bad day. It's a bad Sunday for me.
It's a bad day for both of us. Both of our brains are not working.
Go ahead. So many. It's just a lot of more artists are doing variant covers for this issue, and I don't know how I feel about it, right? Because I feel like now at that point, they're still kind of like, when it comes to specifically Walking Dead, I think they're that last, to me, that last kind of semi-dish effort of like trying to see how much more you can milk this franchise before you're finally done with it. You know, like you just ended very abruptly, I might add, right? You just ended without any like, without any notification saying, hey, this is the final issue,
And
right?
you know what, I kind of like that they did that because it was an
Yeah,
opportunity for what's his name to kind of just ride off into the sunset
yeah.
and
And so,
basically, yeah,
oh, it was definitely not Rick. Definitely not Rick. That rode off in the sunset.
no,
But yeah, we won't go any further than that for those who are trying to read the book again. But
no, I meant Robert
I don't.
Kirkman. I mean, yeah, you
Oh,
know, for
okay,
him
Robert
to,
Kirkman.
yeah, for him to kind of just like, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, like he has like three other books he's doing right now too. So, or at least one other book, Firepower. I know he's doing maybe. I know he's also writing Oblivion Song too, which I freaking love. And so I understand that working on Walking Dead for nearly 20 years now,
Hmm.
nearly 20 years, you want to do something else, right? Because you feel, I understand you feel burnt out as an artist, or
Yeah,
as a writer, to try to do one thing over and over again consistently every single month, every single year. So I get that. But how this is going to segue into our main topic of the day, is that how do you feel about variants today in the modern day? Right? You and I are big variant guys.
yeah, and I've I've started to wear on it. And Jr. Jr. Appropriately titled this episode called variant fatigue, and I know that it goes along the lines of people talk about like with movies that there's going to be comic book fatigue from cinema and stuff like that. People are going to just go like, okay, how many times can they tell the same story over and over again, just flip flop, And they've talked about, they've jokingly said, if you watch the web series called Honest Trailers, people have been making fun of the Marvel movies since the first series, where it's like big bad Skybeam beat up the bad guy in the movie or something like that. Like there's a formula to it, but they're good. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy variants
Yeah.
to an extent. Um, I just I kind of wish that some artists would use their talents and
Elsewhere.
broaden their horizons a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, um,
Before we get into that, yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, tell us a little bit about the history
Mhm.
of the variants, and then we'll get into our rants about it.
Yeah. So I before kind of preface everything this about this issue, the variant conversation has been ongoing for a lot of collectors, right? For a lot of
Oh
collectors
yeah,
in today's modern age, right? And actually it's been around for a while anyway. What's more valuable, the variant or the actual copy, right? Because people go back to the older, golden age, silver age, and even copper age comics. Well, just to give you guys a little history lesson of this, the very first variant cover was actually from Superman. So
um,
again, we have Superman coming in. Superman, the Man of Steel from 1986 had an A cover and a B cover, which was vastly different from its time. What? Yet, what?
no, I was looking to see. I think I have that cover, but go ahead.
You might probably have it, man. But yeah, it came out in 1986, older than me, right? Older than me, and so
I
I
do.
can't. Yeah, see, it
I
came out.
wasn't. I wasn't sure if this was the variant.
The one with his chest, right? We
Yep,
have the S on his chest. That's the very pivotal cover. You'll see it right there. Yeah.
there it is. Man of Steel, October 1986, the
John
John Byrne
Bryan
Collector's Edition variant.
variant.
So yeah, right
That's
there,
the
the old 1B,
that's the very first variant.
and
That's the.
it's a cool cover.
Mhm. Do you have the? Can you put up the regular cover if you have it?
I don't have the regular cover. I got this as a gift for Christmas one year from my buddy Jim. Shout out to Jim, who I used to work in radio with. But yeah, he got this as a. I thought you might like this, and he said he found it. I think he said he found it at a garage sale.
Wow.
And as you can tell right there, at the time, it's a $5 wall book. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not a high dollar right
Yeah,
now item, but it is like Jr. said, it is the
very first variant.
very first variant.
Very first variant of like to ever exist, and because of that cover specifically, it helped propel just basically it helped propel comic collecting vastly around around that time, right, the late
Yeah,
80s and the early 90s, right. It helped during the quote unquote speculator boom of comics, right. But because of it, it suffered after the bubble popped, right. Variants itself suffered after the bubble popped, and then they slowly and steadily came back, right. The variant have been coming back into bigger fruitions in the modern day, like early 2000s to now, right. And so there are many like people ask, for those who don't know, who are just barely getting to comic collecting, or barely just don't have a full-on passing knowledge of this thing. There are multiple types of variants in the comic world. The most easiest one is your standard variant comic, your cover B, your cover C, your cover D,
yeah.
which I'm hoping something will show here.
I'm
Let's see if
trying
it's
to
going
I'm
to.
trying to
Yeah.
find um is it showing there it
Not for me.
is. Okay, hold on. This is the
Living
cover.
room.
Sorry, there you go.
There you
That
go.
is the cover that JR was talking about. Sorry, I
Yeah.
knew I could find it. I just wanted to double check. So that is the cover
Yeah.
A of the Man of Steel that JR was talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what that cover right there will be your standard cover,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And then the cover B, C, D, whatever, that will be your variant cover, right? That's the most basic variants you will find. And sometimes they can be very valuable. They're just an ultra cover of that issue. Any store or business can purchase this item, like at multiple copies. They don't have a limit per se, right? Of just buying this one copy, right? And those variant covers can be full covers, homage covers to like older covers way back when. They could be spoof covers even. I think of Tigger, Tigger. I don't want to get that misspelled out, right? Like that Tiger, the yeah, those spoof covers. And I'll actually even put out that multiple runs cover, like multiple print runs, like your second print, third print, and fourth print, those can be considered variant covers as well. And then after that one is your incentive variant covers, where we've got it over the show before. I've shown it to you guys many times. The ones where you have to buy where a store or a business had to buy a certain amount of books just to get that one cover, right? And they
Yeah.
range. They are, and they're the big ones. I'd say, I guess Marvel and DC. They'll have your one for 10, one for 25, one for 50, one for 100, one for 1,000, one for 2,000, one for 200, all that stuff, right? Those are your main ones. Some of your offbeat ones, like I think the ones are like the publisher from Red Sonja, all that, they had like the one for fives and one for 15s, one for 20s. Those off ones.
Now I will say this, that JR is right, that for the most part the multiple um what's it called, number, variants
Mhm.
typically go towards the big two.
Mhm.
With that said,
Mhm.
um, I will show you that, and this was a package that I bought at, again, Comic Asylum. We're not trying to intentionally shill for them, but this was a collection that I bought. This
Mhm.
is Betty and Veronica. This was it was a quick 3 issue book written and drawn by Adam Hughes.
Mhm.
It was meant to be a lot long. Actually, um, I can't remember the exact story of how it went, but it was a 3-part series. I think it was supposed to be longer,
Mhm.
and then Archie wanted Adam to write a story differently, and he said, "No, I'm good," and condensed it down to 3 issues, and it was like, "I'm out." But
Yeah.
if you look here is, I mean, there's the cover A, really cool cover. Don't is that the cover that you have,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
okay? And then
Uh,
there's the J. Scott Campbell covers, which is kind of like an homage to Coachella Fest, and then a bunch of different artists. I think that might be a Tony Fleecs cover. Nope, not. I thought it was. But you can see, look at that. I mean, there's 10, 15, 20. These are all issue number 1. So, I mean, there is, yeah, like at least 20 covers. and then you got to issue 2 and issue 3.
Yep.
So, like JR said, easily you can
Yeah.
have a dozen or dozen plus covers for one book.
Yeah. And also just say too that DC and Marvel too, actually early 2000s, they did the weird ones too. They did the weird incentive variants where like there's that 1 for 75 variant of like Generation Hope,
Yeah.
that's the cover that I want, as well as the 1 for 15 cover of I think Power Girl, right? For DC that they've done for every run. Are like either 1 for 10 or 1 for 15 on those. And those covers are just blown up too now. And so those are your incentive variants. There's a retailer variant where it's much different from a store variant. A retailer variant is basically is basically that the retailer, when they buy huge quantities of a certain issue from publisher of the book, right? So this is your basically just Diamond Comics. Diamond Comics is basically they're gonna buy so many of this book that they're just gonna give you that the publisher's gonna give them a thank you variant or a publisher exclusive variant, which is mainly just going to go towards which can be mainly usually for Marvel or DC. I've seen some Image stuff. I've seen some Image exclusive variants from retailers. I've seen some Boom Studio exclusive variants too. But you'll see way more Marvel and DC, which is understandably.
Sorry.
No problem, dude. This guy's been awake since like what, 5?
Yeah, easily. When I got the email from you, I was like, "Oh crap! We're starting recording today."
Yeah.
Now, how many retail variants would you say you had? And again, retail variants, like JR is saying, is like it's one per store, right?
It's usually retail variants, right? I can be one per store, and like those they differ. I also forgot during incentive variants as well that if you hit a certain amount of it, they'll give you a party variant, which is just
okay.
Yeah, that one. And so, but for me, I think I do know for sure I have 2 Spawn Thank Yous variants. I have 2 of those. One of them I got CGC 98, and then the other one should be 98 too. But I'm waiting for McFarlane to sign that one. So
here's my one exclusive.
I have that variant. One. I have that one.
Which one? Where did you get it from?
I got it from Interstellar. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, so this book came out a month maybe after the Venom #1, the black and white. Yeah. And the Venom black and white variant, especially here locally, they kind of did. This is the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider #1. It's a cool cover. I got super lucky. I scored this. This was like the first time out of the store that I paid way more than I should have for a book. I'll be honest. Okay, what it is? I paid $40 for this cover.
Really?
And the Venom #1, which I don't have. There's a huge story that goes around that. Interstellar sold theirs. Wasn't they sell theirs for like $100?
I can get into that. Okay. So, but are you going to where I think you're going with Sid?
Yeah, that Sid ended up getting. I don't want to get in it because I don't want to get him in trouble. So
okay. Yeah. So something happened with another story here now. But yeah. But Adrian at the time, right?
Yeah.
Was selling his copy for $100, and my dumb butt was over there. This is pre-collector J. Right, this pre-collector Dark King. I looked at it. I'm like, man, that's a great cover, but $100. I'm like, I'm good. I'm chilling. And Adrian went as far down as like, I give it to like for 80 if you want to. The Spawn Thank You. I'm like, nah, I'm chilling though. And I'm kicking myself in the butt because he sold it to George for much cheaper, way cheaper, because it was still on the shelves and you just want to get rid of it. To George, and then I asked George like, yo, I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt, dude. How much you want to sell that cover for, like years afterwards? He's like, I'll give you for a certain 3-figure amount. I just say that. So it's a lot.
It's not this one, is it? Oh wait, hold on. It's not that one, is it?
Yeah, no, not that one. It's
okay.
It's the Venom one from 2016.
Okay.
The black and white McFarlane variant. Yeah, it's from McFarlane.
I'll find it.
Yeah, but yeah, that one cover, man, I have been looking for a very, very long time. I can find it now. It's just that like I know for sure that the copy that Adrian had was super clean. The
Yeah,
top,
I do remember it's him saying that it was.
it was
Um,
yeah, it was super clean. It was gonna 9.8. I know that for sure. And that Javel's book, I think that when he got his was like a 9.6, 9.4. And no, I think he told me it was kind of beat up. Not super beat up, but I'm pretty sure he said that like, yeah, I had it, and diamond shipping is diamond shipping. So
let's see. Was it this one?
no.
Dang it!
Yeah, put a Venom 1 the Fallen, black and white.
Oh my gosh.
You'll find it. But yeah, as Kevin's being a homie to me, he'll say that. But yeah, Spawn thank you variant is, it can be considered
Ah,
a thank you variant, and Batman 92 appreciation variant, right? That came out recently. It's a black and white 90 Batman 92 with what's her name? That's Punchline in the cover.
yeah,
That's black and white. Yeah, and there's also another type of art, type of retailer variant called RRP, which stands for Retailer Roundtable Program, right? The Retailer Roundtable Program, where where the publisher or the retailer, they bring in these really big shops and have their feedback, ask for their feedback, what they can do and whatever have you during in terms of shipping and just other stuff involved. And for them just being there, they give them a variant, a very specific variant, and these are low run ones, like the Saga 1 RRP, which is insane right now. Like a 9.8 for that variant right now is going for like $2,000, right? They're super rare,
yeah.
but like the print run is like less than 200-300, and so those are the ones that are really, really like your Grail books per se, right? And Batman 608, the RRP variant for that as well. That's a huge one too. And then we go down another category that Kevin and I know very well, the store exclusive type of variants, where these are the ones that were a certain store, individual store, they go to contract, they ask a contract for whether the publisher or a artist to say, hey, can you do an exclusive cover for this store, right? For our store specifically, and they have a limited run for that variant, right? Kevin and I have tons of those variants out. And even artists nowadays too, they are now in that game where they make specific covers for their own shops online. You think of J. Scott Campbell, you think of Art Germ, you think of Adam Hughes ish. I think Adam Hughes still has a contract with that one company that shall not be named, specifically because of Kevin. But yeah, those are your store exclusive. And then the last one on my list
By the way, here's an example of a store variant. Now, this is one I got from SoCal Comics and Games and Comics. It's in Temecula, by the way. Check them out. It's a great store. They actually got Ryan. It's actually a Ryan Parrott came and did a signing for this book. The cover artist actually, though, is forgot who it was now. But nonetheless, it's that's a store variant of Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Necessary Evil number 40. But yeah, that's just an example of kind of like what you can get from a store variant. I think the biggest store I'm looking for, the biggest store variant provider. Well, there's two. I know JR is the one that said that we shall not be named, which is obviously it's. I'm thinking he's meaning Midtown Comics.
Nope, not Midtown. Not Midtown.
But
we'll talk about that later.
Anyways, Midtown Comics usually gets some of the big names. The other one who has their own stable of artists that do kind of exclusive covers for them is KRS. Is it KRS?
KRS, yeah.
KRS. So they have the likes of oh my gosh, I completely drew a blank.
Warren Lowe.
Who, by the way, cool guy, blew my mind how down to earth he was. And then of course my girl, I can't think of her name right now.
I know her name, but I'm not. I know her name, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah, I know that there is. I know it's a sore subject with us personally, but I know that I've been pretty blessed to have um, uh, basically befriended this person,
Hmm.
and she does very good work. I just know that there is some no love. There's some love lost maybe,
Yeah, we'll try to keep it cordial.
but
This,
you
yeah.
know, it's bid and it'll be it's chalk it up to its business. But nonetheless, oh my gosh, why can I not find the cover? That's
And
gonna bug me. Anyways, moving right along. So yeah, just some examples of store comics. KRS for some
yeah.
reason they seem to hold a little bit more value than like a Midtown or something like that. But
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's because they're continual. They have three. For me, honestly, three like I don't want to say major artists because that's kind of like I don't want it to somehow denigrate the other artists that do covers for them as well. But like I guess three of the more well known. There you go, more well known artists,
yeah,
right? They that do a continual a continual cover variant for them for feels like every other issue now, and so that's them. And as well as for you, I know you put up Campbell up recently. The Coachella variants, right? Are actually I don't are they SDCC variants or are they store variants?
though I believe those were store variants, but let me find it again. That
Yeah.
was Betty and Veronica #1.
Yep.
Uh, and where'd it
I think
go?
I think they're store variants, but yeah, but those I think those can be considered store variants or convention variants,
They
which is
they
also
are
fine.
considered to be a store exclusive variant. I
There you go.
believe these were Campbell.com. Yeah, let me see. I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were exclusives to his shop, and you guys can show here what I mean by the Coachella variant. It
Look at yeah. All you gotta do is look at the bottom right of that cover right there. That
yeah
says Campbell exclusive. That's only straight to the store. And then after that one right there, after that type of variant, store exclusive variants are your convention variants. Which is that's my last subject.
yeah
Where convention variants, of course, are their only are exclusive to certain conventions that check out throughout the year, right? Your STCC variants, your C2E2 variants, your Emerald City variants, right, and all the other variants, and all the other Comic Cons in
yeah
between.
and it's very rare that a store will or that a artist or a whatever call a printer or whatever call it a publisher Marvel DC blah 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 that will do a variant outside of SDCC Emerald, maybe a WonderCon and C2E2.
Yeah.
It seems to me though over the last couple of years though that the collectors, not just comics but collectibles that hold the most value actually isn't San Diego, which you would think would be because, but the problem is there's so many, and everyone comes to San Diego. The one that actually seems to be kind of a hard, not hard to come by, but a more valuable convention exclusive is Emerald City, the Emerald City Comic Con, which is in Seattle,
Mhm.
which was the really and truly the first major casualty of coronavirus this year.
Yeah.
I remember they went back and forth for a week, over a week, with a week to go before the
Yeah.
convention actually started.
Yeah. And just for I think it really fell when Jim Lee pulled out when he
Yeah,
said
when the big two when Marvel and DC pulled out, that kind of let the and I just remember our friend. Oh my gosh, we're all just absolutely terrible with freaking names today. The guy from Vegas,
oh
Kincaid,
yeah,
Ryan Kincaid.
yeah,
Ryan Kincaid was like, "No, dude, I'm holding out, bro. I don't care. I'll just put a mask on or whatever. Like, I'll hold out. I'll spray myself with Lysol. I'm going." And then he's like, "It's canceled." He's like, "Well, fuck. Like, what am I gonna do?" And like,
yeah,
he
it
was
sucks.
like,
Oh my
"It did,
gosh,
dude."
dude.
And you know what? I give him. By the way, check him out. Go to his website. Google
Yes.
Ryan Kincaid. Go to his Facebook page. Whatever you have to do. Go follow him on Instagram. First off,
Yeah.
the dude is chill as hell. Um,
Yeah.
I can honestly say, and it is a something that can be written on my tombstone. I don't care. I've met Jim Lee. I've met J. Scott Campbell. I've met Art Germ. I got drunk in Vegas with Ryan Kincaid. So it's like, he is so cool. Like, it was just, he's
Yeah.
just a really, really down to earth guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy you can go have a beer with.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe Ryan Kincaid.
Yeah, he's awesome, guys. Please support him, man. He does. He'll he'll do. He has his own variant covers, but he will also commission, man. He will
Yeah.
commission
Oh,
whatever variants you want, whatever art you want, dude. So please, he's definitely one of the guys that are because of coronavirus, it's tough, right? It's tough for everybody. I understand that, man. But like, hey, if you can show him some love, show this specific artist some love, man. Ryan Kincaid. I hope we can link his Instagram and his.
I'll see if I can add that
Yeah.
in post production. I'll make sure I try to add that. But here's
Yeah.
an example of his commission work. I had this commission done in at WonderCon last year,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
is, of course, my favorite character right now, Gwenpool, yielding the Infinity Gauntlet. Um, he did Mask Off for me. Um, I am going to have him when things kind of come back to normal. I am going to have him do another one, but this time, actually, I might have him do two. I'm not 100% sure yet. I might have him do another Gwenpool with the mask on, with the Infinity Gauntlet, and him going like this. But I haven't decided if I want him to actually show the finger or have it blurred out. Chick has a Gwenpool. I think it's a Gwenpool book. Maybe it's not.
Maybe
But
so.
she has a Kincaid book where
Yeah.
the character's giving the finger and it's like digitalized out. It's like that.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, show some Kincaid love. Again, I'll try to remember to have his stuff here on the bottom.
Yeah, and I had convention variants. So let's see. Oh, in New York Comic Con in New York Comic Con too. That have to
Yeah,
leave them out. Those
NYCC's, yeah.
yeah, NYCC is big, and I think they actually are. To me, I think a lot of New York Comic Con variants are more valuable than San Diego for me. But that's beside the point. And there's other variants after that, guys. Your newsstand, your Mark Jewelers, and foreign reprint, all that stuff. But to our main questions for that, are there too many variants in today's day and age?
I think so. I would like to see, for an action number 1000, a detective 1027, a detective 1000,
Yeah.
big marquee issues
Hmm.
should get, but even then, a limited amount of variants.
Yeah.
Action 1000 and Detective 1000 I thought was really cool. Was they did the decade variants where they paid
Yeah.
homage to the different artistic styles of, and the action books were phenomenal because,
Yeah.
especially when they got to the 90s Dan Jurgens style of action comics and Superman and Man of Steel and Man of Tomorrow and stuff like that, it really just they did a great job. And I know that Jurgens did a couple of covers, but they really summed up the style of the 90s in Action 1000. I'll pull it up right now. I actually had it put aside.
Yeah.
That, doing stuff like that, and like JR just said too, I have no problem with a Comic Con variant.
Yeah.
That is where variants should be. It's an incentive to go to the shows. It's an incentive to go to panels and go support these artists. But here is a little taste of the aforementioned decades variants. We have obviously the main variant right there, or the main cover for Action 1000. The blank, the age old blank variant. Here we go. This is the first decade variant. This is based on the 1930s Superman. Cover artists, I believe, on this one is Steve Rude.
Yeah. Yeah. Just show them per se. It's just I believe this is definitely how a good look or a proper way to show variants, because it's definitely an homage to the older styles, and but like again to say that they're after the actual the given variants from the publisher, there were also
I always kind of like that
I
cover.
yeah, I want to say hundreds of other variants too that were store exclusive variants, were artist variants from uh that were out, through a third party as well. And like, I think of the Archim variants, I think of the Rocket Comic variant, I think of so many other variants that happened after this too, that happened, not just with Action 1000, but yeah, it was even with Action 1000, man, there was a lot, dude. Can you like that's the I think, that's just the regular J covers, right?
That's the 2000s cover.
Yeah, that's 2000 cover. There was a specific Action 1000 from Rocket Comics, man. That was a quote unquote a high exclusive one to
This
have.
and here, by the way, here is an example of a retailer exclusive as well. This is done by um, Oliver Copiel
Yeah,
for Midtown Comics, and like I said, you typically will get some kind of call out to the store, but right there, there's the famous Midtown Comics exclusive logo. Um, but yeah, I, to me, that do an event book,
yeah. I can't even say the event books either, man. Like, I
no,
do.
yeah,
Yeah,
it demeans the main copy. Like you didn't see, unless it was a second printing, but even then,
yeah,
that's not a variant. But you didn't see a you didn't see a variant of like Secret Wars,
yeah.
the that uh,
Way back when, yeah.
or Crisis on Infinite Earth or stuff like that.
Those,
So
yeah, those were your. I would say those were your more. That wasn't more on it. I guess, for lack of a better term, honest time. Because
yeah,
like I understand why there's so many of it now. Because one, like I said before, that part Marvel on this. Marvel's been doing it, right? Marvel's been one of the bigger perpetrators of this huge rise down Marvel in comic variants, right? Because as I look, I'm a DC guy,
yeah,
absolutely, and I've seen DC variants, right? Majority of the time for DC variants, it was always cover A, cover B for the longest time,
yeah,
right? Other than maybe, let's say, Heroes in Crisis that happened 2 years ago now, maybe
yeah.
two and a half.
About 2 years, about a year or two
They
ago.
I think that for me, that was one of the very first times I saw a 1 for 100 out of DC, and I had that cover, the 1 for 100 out of DC, and of course they had that, the 1 for 1000 variants, but like those are your 50 cent variants, your 50 cent covers, so it wasn't that much, but like everything else though came from Marvel. Every Archerm book, which they milked the hell out of Archerm, they've done. He's a 1 for 200 variant cover,
Yeah,
right? First, he came out with the regular cover. First, he came out with the regular variant covers for Supergirl. And then Marvel kind of said, "Hey, let's do some covers for us, and then we'll put your covers out. We'll do one for Shuri. That's the regular cover, and then we'll do her 1 for 100 variant." And then when they were starting to win the comic war, quote unquote, for going back on top, after DC's been trouncing them for 2 years prior, for the last 3 years prior to that moment, they came back astoundingly because Archerm is still a hot name, and then he sells covers, and people want that 1 for 200 variant, and so you have all these stores buy that 1 for 200 variant, and they still have 200 variant covers of a symbiote Spider-Man that will never sell. And these are like I said before, like one of our earlier podcasts, man. Marvel's numbers are super inflated, because they don't show you you know, actual sales from local store to customer. Period. They only show numbers that from what store bought from publisher or retailer. And that's it. And because of that, you have all these variants that come out time and time again. Dude, how many Fantastic Four covers of number one variants were there, dude? There were
tons.
so many just for Fantastic Four. Granted, it's a big thing. Fantastic Four is back in the fold, but we had like 10 covers, right? 10 variant covers for that one book. And the Archim cover for everyone after that was a 1 for 200 or a 1 for 100, I think. I'm like, that's way too much. They're milking the hell out of it. And I do feel some variant fatigue when it comes to that regard with Marvel, right? And I'm still a sucker for it because I want that particular cover, right? I just bought a freaking Peach Momoko, right? and they're doing with Pichimoko, and they're doing it again with Champions. Have you not seen the Champions cover they're doing? Champions 1?
Oh, the Miles Morales zombie cover.
No, no, dude, check it out right now. Peach Momoko Champions 1. And 1 for 100, which I'm gonna never get because I'm a dumbass that is a little bit of a hypocrite when it comes to this stuff. But like I also love Peach Momoko, and so
how do you spell it again?
Champions 1, Momoko, it's Momoko.
Number 1. There
One
it is.
for 100, 1 for 100 incentive variant. It's for the champions.
The 1 in 50.
Is 150? Is it?
Is it?
It should be 1 for 100.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
See if this, is it this cover?
Let me see. It's one of her covers. Yeah, that one. It's one of her covers that she constantly. If it's a 1 for 50, for $109, who's selling this?
This is from Black Cape Comics. And you thought I was crazy when I was complaining about that West Coast Avengers book that I've been dying. I'm literally like 1, maybe 2 books away from having my Gwenpool collection complete, and one of them is a variant that has a market value of no more than about $25 to JR. We've lost JR.
Okay, so I'm gonna just rant just a little bit. I understand as a store retailer, you have to make your profit because books cost a lot when you buy in bulk, right?
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that if you're a good enough store that has worked with Marvel for a very long time, you get half off your purchase, right? You get your wholesale price, right? Half off a book. Even if this freaking book, which is gonna probably retail for $5, right? For issue 1, Champions 1, what's $5? What's 50% of $5? $250. $250, right?
Yep.
250 times 50. What is that?
Don't make me do math, dude. I'm like
I don't want to do. I don't want to do math either. But let me just. I'm gonna just do math right now. I am appalled.
What is it? 250.
250 times 50.
Times. Son of a bitch! I hit the wrong button. 250. Oh, damn it! Make me sit up.
I know, dude. I'm doing my phone right now. I don't want to do math.
Times 50. People are going, it's this number, stupid. It's $125.
$125, right? How much are 1 for 50 variants usually go for?
40 at the most, 60. It's an extreme rare case you get to 100, but usually from an established star, or it's supply and demand. And guess what? Champions books don't sell. I like Champions books.
Yeah,
I like Champion. It's a good book. Do they fly off the shelf?
Nope.
No. Okay. The aforementioned. It's like the 3rd reboot in the last 5 years. Yep. Like the aforementioned Venom book. Okay, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes. Yeah, is it a huge character? No, but it's an established character. Had a very successful run prior to that retail variant, and I paid $40 for it. The Venom book, a well-established character that deservedly deserves a $100 wall book. But Champions #1 of the. It's like volume 4, first print of an artist who is yet to be an established artist, going for $110. Come on, bro.
Here's the thing. I understand the argument of like it's Peach Momoko, right? You know, people are gonna say, oh, her Ghost Spider 2 is retailing for $9.8 for $1,000. Her other books after that, her Silver Surfer Black 4 Momoko cover with Null on the cover is like retailing right now for $200, right? I get that, I understand that, but this is a pre-order. A pre-order for a 1 for 50 variant, which is asking 1 for 100 variant prices. I want to know who the 1 for 100 artist is, and see what that's really. I want to see what that's really at, dude. Because if it's around the same price as the 1 for 50, I ain't having it, dude. I'm not having it at all, bro. Like,
JR is gonna throw something at the TV right now.
Like I'm gonna be a sucker for it because I know
I
I
don't
know
even
for a fact I'm gonna buy it.
I don't
But
even see a 1 in 100
and
variant.
that's the thing, man. Like I would not be surprised if the 1 for 100 variant is the same Peach Mocha variant but a Virgin variant. I would not be
Could
surprised.
be.
It could possibly be, or maybe it's the 1 for 200 variant that's Peach Mocha as Virgin variant. That could be that way because that's how Marvel's been doing this freaking dumbass game for the last 3 years now.
You can tell that
It's
JR is a little hot on this subject.
I am irritated because like one, it just gives credit to the people who have been harping on variants in general for a very long time. Right?
Yeah.
I am all for variants because one, it shows you new artists. Right?
Yeah.
Artists. I would never know of Joshua Milton.
No, neither one of it.
Even if he's done Nyx 3, right? The pivotal run of the pivotal reveal of who X-23 is, right?
Yeah.
Nyx 3, Joshua Milton. I did not know who he was until I saw his run on Batgirl. Right?
It just, I think that's everyone's introduction to Batgirl was, or to Joshua Milton was the Batgirl run. So yeah, I mean, but even then, like, there were some cool books, really cool books, and they did a nice run and whatnot. But really and truly, that one that I think is number 23 should have been like just. Here's a great idea. Here's a fabulous idea. Is just have them be the cover artist. Have them do cover A. And that's what I'm like. That's why I like what Marvel is doing with Black Cat. Black Cat, since issue number 1, cover A, meaning you can go to the store. Don't have to pay an exclusive for it. Don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. Don't have to send away and wait 6 to 8 weeks. Cover A for the last 13 issues has been J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell has not done a cover A for a book in 25 years.
Yep.
Probably not since Gen 13. Dude, bro, and it's a halfway decent story. And so he's actually, so Middleton, give him Batgirl. Just give him the Batgirl. Now, I like Jolie Jones.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I do? But you know what? Just give Middleton 10-issue run. You know, but to have to force stores to have to sell it at a premium, they don't have to, but they have to make their money back because in order to get those Middletons, they're going to need to buy a bunch of extra books of Batgirl that might not sell. I mean, Batgirl, to be honest, the character's cool, story's halfway decent, but it really hasn't been a very good book. The only reason it sold is because of Middleton. Make it the cover A so you don't have to sell a premium. But I get it at the same time is that DC then has to go, okay, well, we have to make Middleton a variant artist because we have to justify paying him the money we're paying him. But I'm like, just no, because really and truly, like JR just said, at the end of the day, look at the tag. Look at the top at the price tag on a Middleton Batgirl. Guess what it still says? It still says $3.99. It still says $4. It's not more. Okay, it's not going to go like, oh, this is a Joshua Middleton variant, $19.99 on the cover. No, it still cost them the same to make the book. They just slapped a different artist. So make them a cover A, and guess what? The value is still going to be up there. I'm sorry, but
I freaking agree, dude. Like it should not be. DC has been doing good when it comes to cover artists, right? I would not know of Art Germ until Supergirl 12, and even though Art Germ did Batgirl way back when, he did Batgirl what 2008, 2009 ish, right?
Yeah, and those are some great covers.
Yeah, those were good covers, right? And people remembered who Art Germ was nowadays and bought those books way back when. Right, because of his work on Supergirl and how he propelled now to comic book stardom because of every single work he's done after that. He started his own freaking shop because of all the covers he did for DC.
Yeah,
right. These are the good parts of what variant covers can do for an artist to just blow up. Kevin and I, great big fans of variant covers because of the artists.
Yeah.
Right. and the art. I'm all into that. And just having this crazy predatory practice right now of having a certain book, right, retail for way more than it is when you're just pre-ordering the damn book is astounding to me. And I understand people want to go, well, you know, if I was retailer, if I pay, you know, if I'm going to pay, you know, for 50 books to get this one variant, I should price however I want to. I understand that, but at the same time, you are then putting on the line a possible relationship between you and me, right? Do want to pay? Do want to buy from you anymore, knowing for the fact that you want to sell it for retail for a way marked more volume, for a way marked up price, right? Just for pre-ordering it, right? At that point, then I would go to. I've done this before too. I would go to a LCS and just say, hey, you know what? Then I'm gonna pay for 50 copies of a certain book, and I want every variant after that, right?
Yeah.
You want me to pay me full price? Cool, then give me all the variants to go with it. I have done it before. I've done it a couple of times with Sid Shop, right? I paid for I think maybe Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? With that book, right? I've done it with that. I said, hey, he worked out a deal with me. Said, all right, cool. If you want the very first issue up to whatever it was, I'll give you prices off, right? I'll do that. I'll rather do that than you giving me the bullcrap price of a 1 for 50 variant for $100. I mean, yo, that's a crazy markup, super crazy markup, man. And 1 for 50 variants usually don't go that much. Like, just for reference sake, the 1 for 50 variant from just recently from freaking we can only find them when they're dead. I think I paid like $40-50, even though, and that's an Image comic one. That's done from Jennifer Zone, right? He's a well-known artist as well, who's currently blowing up, and I'm happy for her, right? I paid maybe 40, 50, maybe even $60 max, right? And that's because I love the store. I should not be, you as a consumer should not be paying these crazy market prices because you know, because now retailers are trying to basically capture that and use their own predatory practice to it. You know me, I'm all for, hey, the store being the store, but at the same time, this is just super apparent and super predatory. I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, man.
Well, to wrap things up, because it's funny, literally on our notes, JR puts here, we can follow as many rabbit holes as we want with this topic, and I think we could be here all night long ranting and raving about the variants. We'll go rapid fire on this, kind of go to redo the questions. I think I think there is absolutely no doubt in our mind that we agree that there are too many variants. That there is, I think right now too, is there is and there could be extenuating circumstances. People aren't working. I think we're seeing people downsizing a lot more right now. So is there fatigue? I think there is. I genuinely think there is, but I think that you can't use the current sales matrix to determine that, because I think that it's unfair, because I think that there is a lot of extenuating circumstances that are leading to people not buying as many books, not buying as many variants. I know for a fact, even though my job has never been affected by it, I'm still making the same amount of money as I was 8 months ago. I'm getting the same amount of hours, if not more, than I was 8 months ago. Nice. But I'm still choosing to downsize a slightly. A lot of it has to do also with the fact that I have way too many comic books. Go back to our episode back on July 11th, I think it was. It's titled The Episode Where Kevin Drops Amazing Spider-Man number 300. And you can see the collection that I was organizing that day. Real quick, JR, do you think the trend of variants is going to... do you think they're just going to stop, like, altogether? No. And two-part question. Do you think it's going to stop, and is the bubble on the verge of bursting?
No, it won't stop, and I sadly think it will burst eventually. I feel like there's going to be that one freaking issue that's going to be overhyped. It might be a Spider-Man comic. It might be a Superman comic where, it's going to have like it's gonna have like 15 regular variants, right? And it's gonna have like 20 store variants, and then it's gonna have like 15 Comic-Con exclusive variants. It's gonna keep on going and going and going and going, man. I do feel it might be from Marvel, honestly, but I do
Oh
feel
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna burst eventually because of just how much the fatigue gonna set in.
yeah. And I honestly think that I'm really surprised that the bubble hasn't burst. I think it was close, and I think it's led to the downturn. So people will go, "That's a burst." I'm like, no, a burst is boom,
We're all
holy f, we're all screwed. I don't think that burst has happened because they're still pumping them out, and they're still selling, but they're not selling at record pace as they were, say, a year ago. But I really think, and I'll end on this, and maybe we can lead this to a topic of discussion. You mentioned right there, like it'll be a Spider-Man comic. I think the book that has led to a downward trajectory. It's not a nosedive, but it's kind of sliding down. Was Amazing Spider-Man number 800.
Yep.
So many stores got burned on that book because they wanted the retail variants. I know that Javel has said time in and time again that it would have cost him less money to have gone on eBay and bought the book off somebody else than it did for him to invest as much money as he did into Amazing Spider-Man number 800. He still has copies of ASM 800 in the store. He's unloaded some of them on the internet. He's sold them. He's given them away in grab bags. He's handed them out for Halloween. ASM 800 was kind of the downward trajectory where some stores were like, it's not effing worth it. So,
to actually, I know this is my last thing I'll say on the subject, right?
go ahead.
To actually harken back to your speculator point that we made earlier, we forgot to go on to because I went on a rant. But like, this is also why the speculator aspect of collecting can be very volatile, because people thought that Mary Jane was going to die in that issue, and that's why so many people bought so many covers, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Mary Jane didn't die in that cover, and so therefore it just took a huge plunge. And so speculation specifically on these topics, right, is very volatile in the comic book industry, because we don't know who lives and technically who dies in these comics. It's up in the air. We don't know if Shuri's gonna be Black Panther, and so the amounts of people buying Shuri books right now we won't know the true value of it until it actually gets announced. The same way, talking back to the last point I made way back when Batman vs Superman came out, and people saw Doomsday for the first time on screen, people bought up so much of Doomsday comics up that when the movie finally came out and it was complete crap, right, throughout the board, it tanked tremendously. So speculation, I can't necessarily put my foot on it because of how volatile the market of comic book.
Yeah. And to go on base, and we'll end on this one, is to go back on what JR said about speculation and it ties into Doomsday, is the king of all speculations was Superman number 75, the death of issue. And people were buying those, and there's a great documentary on Sci-Fi about the Image Boys, and it talks about the birth of Image Comics. If you just go on, it's a 4 or 5 part series, maybe more. But if you go up and just type in like Sci-Fi Wire Image, it'll come up. It talks about all the guys who left Marvel and went and created Image Comics, and they talk about that when Jim Lee was at Marvel and he was doing the X-Men run, people were buying up X-Men number 1. It is still to this day the number 1 selling book of all time. Over 10 million books sold. 10 million copies. If a book does 10,000 copies right now, it's a good day. Yeah. But 10 million copies were sold of X-Men number 1. I happen to have 2 copies, I think, 1 or 2 copies. I have the 4 connecting covers, and I have the main folding variant. But nonetheless, speculation can be. Don't go by speculation. Just I'll end on this. A, there's too many variants. B, I think that it will never end. I think variants will never end. Will the bubble burst? I think we have seen the pinprick of the balloon, and that the air is slowly coming out. I think that you're going to see people downsize. You're still going to see variants. I think it's a market that's needed. I think, my opinion, get it down to a key issue. An Amazing Spider-Man number 800. To celebrate that, do one or two covers like they did with Action and Detective 1000, like they're doing with Detective 1027, which is the 1000th issue of Batman for Detective Comics. Do something like celebrate it, but don't blow it out of proportion. I definitely think that there needs to continue to be convention variants. Store variants are cool if it's done right. But other than that, give us your thoughts, your opinions. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Comment below the video as you see here. Obviously, the video will be posted via YouTube. Comment on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Click on the link. If you need help, if you're listening to us on the audio form, you can go to youtube.com/wildthing2331. That link should still work. If not, the link is available on our Facebook page and other social media accounts, including on our profile on Instagram at PS Comics I Love You on Instagram. You got any ideas of what we're going to talk about next week?
Yeah, a couple. I mean, like I've written down some stuff already, but like I'm also looking at the Sony event that's happening this Wednesday, and I might just nerd out and be a console geek again and just talk about video games.
We might. You know what? We could do a kind of a part two or a follow up to our comic book or to our video game episode that we did. By the way, go back and check that out. It was about a month or so ago. Yeah. Really fun episode. By the way, shout out to JR, our basically who has become our executive producer. Here is 4 full pages of format that he did. I know a lot of podcasts out there do like 40 or 30 pages, but he is able. You find a way to get as much information as possible into four minuscule little pages, but job well done, my friend. So yeah, we'll be looking out for that Sony event. I do know that. Big shout. Well, we could let's definitely do video games because Nintendo just announced some stuff last week for the Switch and for the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
we have the new Pokemon DLC, which is about 2 months away. We do have that new Pokemon game that's supposed to be coming out from from Tencent.
That's right. Yeah,
I will have a review. I promise I will have a review for the Avengers. By the way, I cannot say. I will end on this. Talk about Spider-Man. We'll end on this. I can't tell people enough. If you have a PlayStation 4 and you do not have Spider-Man, go down and get it. Go down to your video game store. You probably can find it for discount or download it or whatnot. It is by far one of the best video games ever made. Period. End of discussion. I don't think it's arguable. You could take the story they tell in the Spider-Man video game and make an incredible movie.
Yeah.
And I'm having so much fun playing the DLCs. We can talk about that next week. So yeah, you know what, JR, you're on to something. Video games part due.
Usually am, man.
Next week.
All right, man. Definitely, guys. Thank you again, guys, for just tuning in every single week to hear us rant about just stuff that pisses us off in the comic book world. And or it makes us happy too, because it usually does make us happy, man. But thank you very much, guys. I do want to appreciate my co-host here, man, Kevin Pillow. He's been doing some work, man. He's been doing work behind the scenes, getting me up. I still need to buy my damn laptop to help out, man. I do want to do like some other segments in between our big podcast too, man, to load it up on our YouTube. I do know that we're trying to get a more official YouTube possibly in future.
Yeah, we're gonna. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to branch off. Like I'm trying to get. If we get to 100 subscribers, I can do a lot more with our YouTube channel. Yeah. But this is a YouTube channel that I've had for shit. Years. I wasn't surprised. I think I established the. I mean, technically it says like 2016, but I think I created my first YouTube channel like I think like I don't know. I think I bought them like. It doesn't matter. I got the YouTube channel way long ago. Sorry, I was getting a text message. But nonetheless, Yeah,
We'll get all that figured out eventually, guys. We're just all kind of just busy in the process
and
and everything else
I am,
involved.
by the way, I am hoping that
Yeah.
the next time we broadcast, I will be coming to the new undisclosed Shield location here at the KRP Broadcasting Studios. I'm working on renovating the location that I recorded downstairs. I've done it a couple of times, but we're putting in a new desk, and I'm thinking about getting a new microphone. Same company. Shout out to Toner Mike. I'm gonna get one of those like
Oh, the boom arms, the arms.
boom arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah. Anyways, he is J.R. Kabakungin,
AKA the Dark
the
King.
Dark King,
Thank you. And he is Kevin Pillow, AKA.
the voice of reason,
Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
with
Peace.
more
What?
PS Comics. I love you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Oh man, that was good.